Hello, my name is Whitney George, and I'm a fourth-year medical student at Vanderbilt, and the project I'm presenting is titled COVID-19 Vaccination, Comparison of Attitudes, Decision-Making Processes, and Communication Among Vaccinated and Unvaccinated Black Americans. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Black Americans were disproportionately impacted by COVID. And despite the availability of multiple vaccines, uptake remains suboptimal, and some studies suggest that vaccine hesitancy is higher among Black Americans compared to other racial and ethnic groups. So there's a need for culturally targeted interventions to increase COVID-19 vaccination with the intent to understand and target decision-making processes in this population. So the purpose of our study was to explore and compare factors related to COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy among vaccinated and unvaccinated Black American adults, and to explore decision-making processes and communications related to COVID-19 vaccination. We applied community-engaged research principles to explore this topic. We had a community partner as a research team member and an 8-member community advisory board comprised of Black Americans. So we had a multi-method study with 30 Black American adults, 14 unvaccinated, and 16 vaccinated, who all completed a brief survey and were followed by an interview. There was no significant difference in vaccination by participant demographics. Here we have our quantitative results by vaccination status. So for our unvaccinated group, their top concern was that the vaccine was too new. Their top 3 barriers to vaccination were fear of developing heart problems, infertility, and the speed of development of the vaccine. For our vaccinated group, their top concern was that the vaccine could cause serious health problems. Their top 3 motivators for vaccination were reading and listening to a news story discussing COVID-19 vaccine trials, a friend or family member having been diagnosed with COVID-19, and a friend or family member receiving that COVID-19 vaccine and having a conversation with friends and family about whether to get the vaccine. Here you can see the 6 themes that emerged from our interviews with examples of participant quotes. Our first theme is that hesitancy for COVID-19 vaccination exists on a continuum. We heard a range of perspectives from the participants, including those that would never accept the vaccine, all the way to those who are extremely willing from the start. Our second theme is that there were varied decision-making processes for COVID-19 vaccination, and I'll go into more detail on this in the next slide. Our third and fourth themes, motivators and barriers among the vaccinated and unvaccinated, our qualitative results mirrored what we found from our surveys, but we also revealed that for the vaccinated, the returning to a sense of normalcy in life was an additional motivator, and we found that for the unvaccinated, mistrust and distrust of the government and pharmaceutical companies, who were key players in the pandemic, emerged as a barrier. For our fifth theme, we had retrieving and navigating vaccine information within the COVID-19 infodemic. All of our participants emphasized how important it was for them to check multiple sources and verify that the information was correct for them. For our final theme, we found parent perspectives on child vaccination. We had 7 vaccinated and 7 unvaccinated parents, and for all of them, their decision-making for their child mirrored their decision-making that they used for themselves. Here we have a figure that illustrates the decision-making processes for vaccine uptake among our participants. Participants all considered the pros and cons of COVID-19 vaccination with different decision-making processes that you can see in gray. For example, one decision-making process is consciousness raising, where participants recognized their lack of knowledge, for example, and attempted to fill in the gaps. So weighing these different factors, participants were then met with practical issues, which you can see in the navy box. These practical issues influenced their ultimate intent, and all participants fell along a continuum from complete refusal of the vaccine all the way to complete acceptance without a doubt. So to conclude, we found that vaccinated and unvaccinated participants had both similar and dissimilar perspectives and decision-making processes and vaccine concerns. There's a need for trusted messaging across multiple stakeholders, both before and after COVID-19 vaccination, as we found that the vaccinated participants also had concerns. Our findings can aid in developing a culturally appropriate intervention with multi-level partnerships to improve vaccine uptake among Black Americans, especially with our community-based approach. Thank you.